This box is huge. Actually, hold on. Let me get a size comparison here. This box is about as big as my cooler. What in the world? Yeah, this box is pretty big. I don't really know how I'm supposed to fit it all in one shot. I'm probably not gonna be able to, so I'm just not gonna try. Anyways, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we will be unboxing and reviewing Studio Series 86 Starscream. As you might already hear, it is currently raining outside of my recording area. So if you guys hear that throughout the video, please just bear with me. I lost my scissors, which might actually work better than my scissors. Work my hand in. Now that I have the box open, okay, you just want to come out, okay. There's a lot of bubble wrap, a little bit unnecessary, but I don't really mind. As you will see in a few minutes, the figure did not come with his throne from the movie. Instead, it came with a small little Megatron gun from a different line of figures. Now that I have the box out of the way, I can now maneuver my camera where it's supposed to be and how I usually record. We have the cape here, put off to the side. The other accessories came in a little pouch. Let's move the light in. Here we have his crown, which is very nice. His little shoulder pads, pauldrons, I'm not completely sure. And then we have Megatron. We have the missiles. And here we have Studio Series 86 Starscream. I don't remember what class this was, but it is pretty big. It is, the vehicle mode is very nice. As I mentioned, I got this used, so coloring may be a little bit off because it's, been used. Very nice mold on the wings, I like that. A front angle looks very nice, even with the chest poking out. Speaking of which, the bottom doesn't even look as bad as I thought it would. The back also doesn't look that bad, especially from the bottom view. Keep in mind that whenever I refer to something as not bad for this figure, I am comparing him to a authentic Starscream figure. Oh! So now, without further ado, let's get into the transformation. And here we have Studio Series 86 Starscream in his robot mode. For starters, the transformation was pretty simple, actually, and kind of fun. In a way, it's pretty accurate to the show and the movie. The figure itself is pretty detailed and nice. Although I don't really enjoy the hyper-realistic, extra detailed mold, it doesn't really bother me now. It really doesn't. I thought it would bother me a lot, but it doesn't. It just fades away whenever you start to really just enjoy what they did. There is little to no backpack, and once again, I thought that a part of the figure was going to bug me more than it actually does. Sure, I don't like false parts. I hate them, in fact. It ruins the idea that you're transforming instead of just, flipping inside out or whatever, With a figure like this, I can still understand why they couldn't do that. And I believe if they were to get rid of the false cone at the back and implement it somewhere like here, the figure would cost a lot more, making it just not worth it. Also, these wings fall off way too easily when you're transforming it. But with that aside, the figure is really accurate to the show, as far as I'm concerned. At first, I thought these were die-cast metal. They are not. They are just silver-painted plastic. Whoopsies. His face mold is simple and clean, like all of the G1 figures are. But all around, there are only like a few minor problems that I have with this figure, like this little bit sticking out here. These gaps won't close completely, but that might just be because I've gotten this used and I don't have the instructions. These stick out a little bit more than I thought they would. Still, the cone bugs me, but it ain't that bad. But these gaps as well, it's minor. It's gonna be covered by the cape or the hands, or you're just gonna have a front-facing angle anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to have this little panel flip out from in there, you might as well make it full. Now that we can move away from the detail of the figure and move to the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, meaning it can look a little bit up, look a little bit down, move a full 360 around. The upper arm or shoulder is on a hinge joint, so it can move full 360 if you wanted to, but you can't really because the wing's in the way. And you can also move it up and down 90 degrees. There's also a little swivel here so you can move below that area. There's an elbow joint right here. Although you can't move anything on the forearm really, apart from, the entire thing, I do appreciate the fact that you can move the hand up and down like this to give it a little bit more articulation, and then also you can move the fingers like this. And obviously it is the same on the other arm. When we move downward, you have a little skirt that can move up for legs. And when you do move it up, you can move the legs that far up, that far to the side, which is pretty good in my opinion. There's no waist turning or, you can fully rotate the leg. And I believe if you unclamp that, you can bend it even more. But I'd prefer to keep it tabbed in so you have a nice clean look. You can rotate the feet based on how he's standing or where he's standing. These little wing bits on his feet have, they spin if you want to do that. His feet can also clamp down, and it's the same way for the other leg all around. And now we can move on to the accessories, starting first with the cape. I think it goes here. I'm not completely sure though, because if I fold it like that, it doesn't look right. Maybe I'm supposed to... So I found out how you put it on. You literally just put it in the little tab back here while having it folded. And then you rotate the nose cone down so that it's pressing against the cape on the back. I don't really like it, but you get what you get. Now we will add his shoulder pads or pauldrons, whatever they are. First we start off by taking off his little guns. Then we grab one of the pauldrons, make sure it looks like this. Push it on there. Nice and neat. Then you put these guns on, unless they're the same thing. Yeah, I think they're the same thing, except these go on for the pauldrons only, I think, maybe. I'm not completely sure. Repeat this process on the other shoulder. And last, but certainly not least, his crown. I believe you just place it on there, and it sort of pressures itself in there. As you can see, this finish mode looks very, very nice. Our self-proclaimed leader of the Decepticons looks very swag in his new attire. By adding these accessories to the figure, you limit some of the articulation in a way, although that doesn't seem to affect me that much. And capping off the accessories all around, we finally have Megatron gun form, I guess. I don't know. As you can see, this gun was not made for this figure, so it does fit a bit weirdly. If you want to have the gun pointing straight with his arm, you have to have a little bit poking out, which isn't a very good look, but it still works. Although, if you don't care whether or not the gun is pointing straight, you can have it tilted like that. I don't like that, so I'm going to keep mine straight up like this. But even then, it is really easy to dislodge it. The hand can't really get a very tight grip on the gun, which is understandable because this gun isn't for this figure at all. But even then, the hand should be able to hold whatever it needs to. But if you take his cape, crown, and shoulder pads off, and place the gun in his hand, you can recreate the scene at the beginning of the '86 movie where Starscream murks the entirety of the original G1 cast. And that is not an over-exaggeration. And now, to review this figure completely on my scales. Figure itself. Articulation is great, detail is great. Backpack, that isn't a big deal. Some slight inaccuracies, but that's fine. I give it a 9 out of 10. Transformation, fun, pretty simple, and accurate to the show. Another 9 out of 10. The vehicle mode itself, bit bulky. Once again, it's one of the things that doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. So I'm also going to give that a 9 out of 10. Quality control, the figure is just all around wonderful. So I'm going to give it, once again, a 9 out of 10. All around, this figure is a 9 out of 10. Congratulations. And now to give it some size comparisons, Gigawatt, the crappy authentic Starscream, Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, which I have also reviewed, and I also need to update the review because his hand broke off recently. Not okay. And finally, Huawei TW-1022EX, aka Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series Optimus Prime, which is my previous review, and you guys should check that out. Speaking of the Optimus Prime, if we move this guy to the side for a few minutes, in my previous review on this guy, I didn't have all the accessories that it was supposed to come with. And just today, I got those accessories. And as an added little bonus in this video, I will review those accessories on this figure right now. God, I hope I didn't lose anything just now. For starters, we have his ion cannon, or blaster, I'm not even sure. They didn't specifically say what this was in the movie, and even then I'm too lazy to look up what it actually is. The gun fits nicely in his hand, went in smoothly, and it holds pretty tight. The arm doesn't really want to hold it up sometimes, but even then it's pretty good. Put that off to the side. We have Optimus's shield with a little handle on this side. So now if I really want to, I can put him on display with my Gundams. Put that off to the side. Then we have the weapon I'm pretty sure he killed Sentinel with. It was either this one or this one, but I'm probably going to use this as silverware later, so it doesn't matter. To attach it to the figure, you have to pull this little bit out, which might be a little bit tight at first, and then slide it in like that. And then finally put the clip back on, or cap back on, doesn't really matter. Oh my god. I said he killed Sentinel, I meant he killed Megatron with this. This is the weapon he killed Megatron with. If I still had my Megatron leader class knockoff, I'd pose him with this, but I don't, so put this off to the side. Next we have his little handheld pistol cannons. And now if I want to, I can pose them with a clone trooper figure or something. I don't know, dude. I barely ever get figures with accessories, so I don't really know what I'm doing here. Of course, you're supposed to get a trailer to go with these accessories, but I did not because that is expensive. Next, we have his little brass knuckles. Yeah, but they're not brass. I'm not even sure if I have those in the right way. Yeah, I do have them in. Yeah, the brass knuckles were pretty loose. And then, you finally have what he used to kill Grindor in Revenge of the Fallen. Best favorite film of all time. Which also look really good on him. Love it. He looks like a Grim Reaper, but if a Grim Reaper transformed into a cool semi-truck. Move Optimus away, this isn't your review anymore, Buster. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel. And if you're really feeling generous, you should consider donating to my Cash App, link in description, so that I can continue to purchase products like this and review them for you guys to enjoy. And with all of that wrapped up, see you guys. Yo, we finna switch cheesy ops with this one.